you would have told me in Bible college that I was going to be a sex therapist, I'd have told you that you were nuts.
Yeah.
Growing up in purity culture in the church, I had so much baggage around sex and sexuality. But that's just like God, to kind of use us in ways that are unexpected. A question that you get asked all the time that I want to ask is, what's it like being married to a sex therapist?
Guys, it's the best.
We're talking about Christian sex therapy. What is it? What happens in sex therapy? What can you expect? How can it help? Who's it for? Pretty much anything involving your sex life that isn't going the way
It's our wheelhouse.
that you would hope for. That's what sex therapists help troubleshoot.
Yeah, and don't settle, because God wants it to be beautiful and robust and delightful. Let's talk more about that. Hey friend, welcome back to the Road to Happiness podcast, where faith meets neuroscience to help you mature into true happiness. We're your hosts, Josh and Cassie Spurlock, and together we founded My Counselor Online, a leading provider in neuroscience-informed Christian counseling, or also called NICC. I'm a sex educator, and Josh is a licensed professional counselor, and together on this podcast, we answer all your questions about life, relationships, sex, all the things, because we believe Jesus wants you to experience the fullness of life that you can only begin to dream of. Well, thanks for coming back and talking with us more about sex. We're in chapter 21, which is all about Christian sex therapy. So in this episode, we're going to hear from Josh. We're going to hear about how did he get into sex therapy, which, you know, if you've been listening to any of these other chapters, you know that we came through purity culture, which is just so ironic and fun how God works and what he does. So we're going to hear Josh's story. We're going to hear the heart behind Christian sex therapy and God's heart for the church. And like, what is Christian sex therapy? What goes on in Christian sex therapy and what doesn't go on in Christian sex therapy? So, and then we're going to talk about how do you know if you need to see a sex therapist? So stay tuned.
The Road to Happiness podcast is made possible by My Counselor Online. Hey, we all need some help every now and then. And the counselors at My Counselor Online are thrilled to come alongside you and help you navigate all the challenges in relationship or just life, the obstacles that, you know, life throws at you that get in the way. So check them out, My Counselor Online. They'd be honored to serve you. You know, it's still a little surprising to me that I got into sex therapy in the first place.
Yeah.
Like growing up in purity culture in the church, I had so much baggage around sex and sexuality, so much shame, so much just kind of shut down, so much kind of like around the topic. Like if you would have told me in Bible college that I was going to be a sex therapist, I'd have told you that you were nuts.
Yeah.
And that I just would not have believed that that was the case. But that's just like God, to kind of take and do things that are unexpected and to use us in ways that are unexpected. And yeah, that's what he did. I was in graduate school for counseling when I first heard about sex therapy. Certainly for Christian sex therapy. Like I'd probably heard the word before, but you know, my concept of it was just shaped by movies and popular media, that sort of thing. But in graduate school, I took a practicum with a marriage and family therapist who happened to also be a sex therapist. I was interested in learning about marriage and family therapy and getting exposure to more marital work, which is why I had interest in the practicum. But in the course of sitting in and observing her sessions, so when you do practicum, we do this thing called empty chair, or third chair, where a student will come and sit in on a session as part of their training. Much like if you go to a hospital, you may have a resident physician following around a more experienced physician, and they're helping with the medical treatment and diagnoses in order to learn how to be a doctor. So to learn how to be a therapist or marriage family therapist, you would follow around a therapist in their sessions and learn how to be a therapist. And I got to witness people struggling in their sex life and the pain that caused in their marriage and the disconnect and sometimes the pain that they were feeling in their physical body and just the discouragement and the way the enemy was using it to create emotional wounding and disconnect. And there was one particular session that I was sitting in, and the couple were celebrating. It was a celebration session that they had made some incredible breakthroughs in the things that they were working on. And they had experienced physical pain and disconnect for years in their relationship. And things were better. The goals that they had come in for were better. And they were enjoying connecting sexually for the first time in their marriage. And there was this moment where the wife was like, "Oh, I just wish we could have found you 5 years ago. Like, we talked to our pastor, we talked to our doctor, we tried everything we could think of, and nobody knew how to help us. We were so discouraged. If we just could have found you 5 years ago, the last 5 years could have been really different." And there was this moment of grief amidst the celebration around the time lost.
Yeah.
And I really felt like the Lord spoke to me in that moment and said that I was supposed to be a part of the solution, that I was supposed to help bring His grace and His healing to couples who were hurting and whom the enemy had wounded and was terrorizing. So after that session, I turned to the practicum leader, the therapist, and was like, "Man, that's amazing. I gotta be a part of that. Like, I feel like the Lord wants me to learn how to do what it is you've been doing and help couples in that way." And she explained to me where she went and got training, Institute for Sexual Wholeness down in Atlanta, Georgia, the world's premier training program for Christian sex therapists. And that began my journey. I started traveling to Georgia every few months to take these intensive courses down there and to get trained and equipped to learn how to help people and care for them. And then get certified through the American Board of Christian Sex Therapists, the only board for certifying Christian sex therapists. And it has been really incredible. Like, so many couples with all different backgrounds and walks of life and different experiences of life, where something was just not working the way God intended in their sex life, in their physical body, in their attraction with one another. Their experience of sexuality wasn't the beautiful, amazing, fun, connective, playful, passionate thing that God designed it to be. And as a sex therapist, I got to be a part of their story.
Yeah,
I get to be a part of having a front row seat to God bringing healing and transformation. And so I'm just so passionate about it.
Yeah.
You've witnessed that. We've shared it together. Now you're a sex educator, and we get to do this together in helping couples experience healing and transformation. But when I reflect back on it, it's just like, wow, Lord, you are incredible and you know what you're doing, and it is beyond me. But such a honor to get to play this role in people's lives and to create resources like the Feeling Sexy book that we put together.
Yeah.
We've been talking through each of the different chapters in the book. And so if you've been following along, you know that. If you're new around here, we're near the end of the book, and we're talking about Christian sex therapy in this chapter. What is it? What happens in sex therapy?
Yeah.
What can you expect? How can it help? Who's it for? We're going to answer all those questions and to dive in all this. But I think a question that you get asked all the time that I want to ask is, what's it like being married to a sex therapist?
Guys, it's the best. I think two pieces. One, I'm grateful for you to bring your wisdom and experience to our sexual relationship. And the other piece of that, which is the same as what's it like being married to a therapist, it's just not something you ever force on me or try to, you don't ever therapize me. That's been a really sacred line in our relationship. And, now it's like different. Like, I think in earlier years, it would have been like, don't try to push that on me, which you never did. But now it's kind of like, oh, I'm stuck. Can you help me get unstuck? So, I guess it's like being married to any other person that has a wisdom and some, if you're married to a mechanic, they can help fix your car. If you're married to a chiropractor, they can help fix your back. We get to offer each other our expertise like we can in any marriage does.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
So, yeah, what do sex therapists do? So let me start with what they don't do, right? Sex therapists don't have sex with their clients, ever. Like, that is not a part of any recognized sex therapy. You may have heard or seen on TV in an episode something about like surrogate sex therapy, which is a secular kind of sex therapy where the sex therapist does join a couple in their bedroom and provides coaching around their sex life from a kind of hands-on in the room kind of context. That is not a part of any practice that most sex therapists engage in, secular or Christian, and it's definitely not a practice that any Christian sex therapists engage in. Christian sex therapy looks a lot like other kinds of therapy, that it's talk-based. And so I'm going to meet with, as a sex therapist, a couple, and we're going to have a conversation about what it is, the challenges that they're facing, what it is that their goals are, what they'd like to see be different. And we're going to together chart out a path from where they're at today to where it is that they're trying to get. And then we're going to do assessment. Going to ask a lot of questions that are pretty awkward and invasive and none of my business.
Yes.
But
only if you want to get help.
yeah, but they are kind of the necessary things for me to know in order to know how to be helpful to you.
Yeah.
So I've got to get into some details about how are things working, the mechanics of things, if there's pain involved, where that pain is, under what circumstances it shows up, if it's a desire thing, understanding what the accelerators and brakes are around desire. Like, there's gonna be lots of questions. And then we're gonna make a treatment plan, which is gonna involve homework that I send you out with. When I say I mean me and any of the sex therapists that are part of our team. We're just, good sex therapy in general. This is how it works. I'm just talking first person from my clients and working with sex therapy. So we're going to send you out with homework that you're going to engage between you and your spouse. And that's going to involve communication exercises where you are talking about different aspects of your sex life and your story together. It's going to involve touching exercises where you are, following some instructions and touching each other in particular ways in order to learn to attune to your body and your nervous system, and to be able to recognize what's really the root of the difficulty. Because when we're engaging sexually, there's a lot of moving parts, no pun intended. Though, it fits, right? There's moving parts, and then there are moving parts in that. But it can make, because it's congested, there's a lot of stuff happening emotionally, relationally, physically.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers. It can make it really difficult to know where the problems are coming from. So part of what we do with the exercise is that we slow down and peel back the layers, and we look at things in little pieces. And it helps us identify the source of the difficulty that we're having, so that in session, we know what we need to talk about, what we need to work on in order to resolve that piece. So common things people come for sex therapy around would be low sexual desire. I don't have confidence in the bedroom. I don't think about sex. I don't want to have sex. There's mismatched desire levels with me and my spouse, and that creates tension in our relationship. And we want to try to figure out what to do with that.
Yeah. It could be either spouse.
Either spouse. Absolutely. It can be a husband that has lower desire than the wife has lower desire than the husband. It's actually pretty rare for couples to have exactly the same levels of desire all the time. Like, that just doesn't happen. And so it's about learning how to navigate those differences and learning how to cultivate desire and what the different influences are. But desire is a big motivator for a lot of couples. And we have a high degree of success in being able to resolve the conflict that folks have around it, and to be able to build a mutually enjoyable sex life. And so all sex therapy has really high outcomes. Like at our practice, we have at least a 93.6% success rate. The data shows actually that if you give us at least 6 sessions, and that jumps to 97%. If you're working with one of our advanced practice therapists, it's like 90.5%. Like it's
wild.
It's wild. Like, we have a really high success rate in helping folks work through. So it gives us a lot of confidence that whatever challenge somebody's facing, there's a lot of research out there. There are treatment protocols. There's a pathway forward to where things can be better. It doesn't have to keep being hard in the way that it has been. Or if it hasn't been hard, we can help it get hard and stay hard if that's the problem. So it just kind of depends on what it is you're looking for, if you know what I'm saying. Then, so pain. Pain is another reason.
Yeah.
Pain during intercourse, pain in different aspects of connecting sexually. That's a reason why folks come in. Again, we know how to troubleshoot that, fix that.
Yep.
Sometimes it's emotional pain and disconnect.
For sure.
Like, there have been marital traumas, there have been wounds in the relationship, or trauma that a person experienced outside of the relationship before they were in this marriage. Somewhere around 1 in 4 women experience unwanted sexual experiences before they turned 18. Like, it's ridiculous, but the trauma is real, and that can have long-standing effects that bleed into the sex life. And so we have to unwind and do some trauma work sometimes, find healing in order to unwind the negative, aversive, traumatic experience from the positive, beautiful thing that God designed it to be. Yeah, sometimes there's been pornography or infidelity that has been a part of a relationship that has demolished their sex life.
Yeah.
And so there's restoration, healing that's around infidelity recovery. And sex therapy becomes a part of restoring the sex life on the other side of that. And sometimes not only restoring it, but building something entirely new and different.
Totally.
That is unlike
Usually.
and better
Yeah.
than anything that they've had before. But yeah, those are common things that folks...
Unconsummated marriages.
Have folks that have gotten married, but something has gotten in the way of them being able to have intercourse in their honeymoon or early part of their relationship. And we're troubleshooting and figuring out what the difficulty is there. But pretty much anything involving your sex life that isn't going the way
It's our wheelhouse
that you would hope for, that's what sex therapists help troubleshoot.
Yeah, and don't settle, because God wants it to be beautiful and robust and delightful, and He has this big idea for it. So if you have an inkling of, I feel like it should be different or better, then it should probably be different or better.
Yeah. We wrote this book, Feeling Sexy, to distill like thousands of hours of sex therapy into a book. And for some people, this book is all you're going to need.
Totally.
Like sometimes there's just some information gaps and some how-tos and what do I do with my hand and, and blowjobs and hand jobs and orgasms and
one of our favorite reviews.
Just the best sex talk you never had in a book.
One of our favorite reviews, somebody said they were reading it together as a couple, and the husband was like, "Is this how you really think?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What?" I mean, just some epiphany moments like that.
Yeah. So if information, and a lot of times information is all that you need, that there's just, we didn't get a good sex talk, and that we didn't get that from the church, and the maybe information that we got from the locker room or from the internet was bad information that has had some bad...
It's incomplete at best.
Incomplete at best, totally wrong at worst, and undermining to a good sex life. We just don't know.
Yeah.
And so if information is what we need, then this book will largely meet that need and kind of fill the space. Sometimes what we need is more than information. Sometimes we have some emotional wounds. Maybe we have some complex kind of situations, and information alone isn't getting the job done to fix it. And that's when a consultation and doing some work with a sex therapist comes into play. People ask, how do I know if I need a sex therapist? And I'll say something like, pick up a book like this, Feeling Sexy, read it through, do the things that it says in it. And if that doesn't address and resolve the issue, if things aren't better as a result of that, then it's time to call a sex therapist. The sex therapist is going to know the questions to ask, to put together a customized plan just for you and your spouse to be able to overcome the challenges that you're facing and achieve the goals that you have and build the really fun, cool sex life. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Sex therapy is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite work to do because, you just see what a joyful thing God designed sex to be. And when people come in a hopeless place, in a discouraged place, struggling, we know the pathway to that joy that the Lord wants them to have, and getting to be that bridge to that place and witness God work a miracle in their sex life is just the coolest thing. Super, super fun.
Yeah, and it's really fun.
Yeah. Oh, did I miss anything? People ask about sex therapy or no? I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I was just thinking when you're sick, you go to a doctor. You need this, you go to a professional. You just need help with this and you're going to a professional.
Yeah, no shame in that.
Yeah. Is it awkward? Sure it is.
More for you than for me.
Oh, yeah.
I promise.
Not awkward for you anymore
at all. The sex therapist that you said, we have these conversations all the time with people, and so it is not awkward.
It's like the gynecologist. They don't care about what your vagina looks like.
They really don't. They really don't. And so, we'll know how to make it comfortable, make it easy.
Yeah.
Cool. I hope that answers your curiosities. If you've ever wondered about what sex therapy is, how it works, what to expect. You've got it. If you got more questions, you can always leave your questions in the comments. We love hearing from you. We love hearing your questions, and we'll shoot more videos and answer your questions and make sure that you get all the info that you need. But yeah, if you're wanting to enhance your sex life, grow in your sexual confidence, grow in sexual desire, pick up a copy of Feeling Sexy. It's exactly what it was written to do, to help you kind of reach that really joyful fullness of life place that Jesus created you for. So thanks for hanging out with us, spending some more time talking about sex, and we'll see you next time. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. It brings Cassie and I a lot of joy to be a part of your story and have these conversations with you just about life and faith and neuroscience. Like, it is such a joy to get to do this with you. It's more fun when we learn together. I got a small ask for you. Would you hit the subscribe button for this podcast? It really helps us, and it's a free way in which you can support what it is that we're doing and help others be able to connect with the same resources that you're enjoying. And if you find yourself in need of a little extra help, check out My Counselor Online. They're our sponsors. They make this podcast possible. The Christian counselors at My Counselor Online would be thrilled to come alongside you and serve you in your time of need. Hey, and Cassie and I want you to know that we're praying for you and that we're cheering you on as you mature into true happiness.